So this is our monthly newsletter show. Thinking.
Yeah, kind of going over what we did in the last month and kind of doing a little bit of a recap.
Yeah. So what did we do, man? I don't know. What about on the who end of things? Discussing who. What did we actually do this past month?
All right, well, for starters, we had a con at the very first of the month, which was in Huntsville, Alabama, for Con Kasterborous, and that was really, really cool. Kind of very cool, actually.
Yes, yes. Got to meet with a lot of good Who fans down there, so that was fun.
Yeah, we saw Laura Sellers, who we met in Memphis last, I think, November, October, November, one of the two, but I think it was November.
Yep, that's correct.
That was at the Memphis Comics and Fantasy Convention. We had a panel with her, and we got to meet her again. Cool thing for us, we got to actually take a picture with Jenny from Vastra, Jenny and Strax.
Yes, yes, we did. That was a whole lot of fun. It seems like she doesn't do too many cons. She seems kind of. Does she seem shy to you?
Yeah, she seemed very shy,
Yeah.
which you know what, to be honest with you, was kind of refreshing because you
Yes.
could tell she was not used to the con scene.
Yes. 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 What else cool did we see down there in Huntsville?
We got to see some very, very cool cosplay. I mean, very, very cool. Most notably, I'd never seen someone wearing the Lord President or the High Council of Gallifrey headpiece. That was cool. What was your favorite?
I think my favorite has to be Davros.
Yes, 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 yes. Tell me why, because I know why, but tell for
Uh,
anyone listening or watching why.
Well, first off, we walked by and we thought it may have been a statue or something at first, and then he started moving, so that was cool. But I think the part you're you're actually referring to is when they were outside for the group picture, and the guy rolls the what is it, half Dalek thing he was sitting in out there to take the picture, and then he has to get in there, and it was a little funny moment when he was when he's powdering his mask. It was quite hilarious. So
Yeah,
yeah, I think that's why you bring it.
yeah. Other than that, which was really really funny, was right after I had saw him for the first time. There was this lady that walked by him and actually jumped because she saw him move. She thought it was a statue. And when she saw him
Yes.
move, she jumped, and not because well, yeah, I guess I am saying I'm laughing because she scared. So hey,
Yeah, it was really cool cosplay. We also got to catch up with our friend Matthew Crystal, who's been on the show.
yes, he has indeed. That was cool. We actually got to do sort of a mini panel with him. We were on the main stage.
Yes, we
Um,
were.
the interesting thing about that was we had a reason I call it a mini panel. The panel before us, which was very entertaining, kind of went over a little bit, but was something I would say up there in the likes of John Barrowman not knowing what to expect. Would you agree?
Yes, yes, yes. How so, sir? Explain that to me.
So, Mark Shepard.
Yes, Mr. Shepard.
Yeah. I don't want to give anything away for anybody that's
No,
not.
let's give it away. Let's give it away. If you
Okay. All right. All right.
if
Since
you if you go up, he's probably going to embarrass you.
yeah,
If
that's it. If you
he
go up, be prepared.
he's very
You're
direct,
going. Yes.
and since he's kind of on the spot, having to do this performance in front of everyone, he kind of puts everybody else on the spot, and it's pretty hilarious and fun. So there's never a dull moment with him.
Did it take you off guard at the beginning?
A little bit, a little bit. I didn't know if it was a British thing at first, but definitely he has a huge, huge, huge fan base. He has his supernatural followers are probably as vast as his Who followers or more probably. So that was a lot of fun to see a lot of supernatural people actually at a Doctor Who convention. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree. I take him as much more of a supernatural actor than he was on Doctor Who. Because if you think about it, his character, he only played one half of that character because half of the character was the old man who appeared at the beginning of that episode. So,
Yeah.
he did not have a lot of airtime in Doctor Who. So, but
Yeah.
fun nonetheless.
Yeah, and from there, was Mississippi our next Comic Con that we went to?
Yes, Mississippi
Yeah,
was next.
yeah. So we had Mississippi Comic Con on I think the 22nd and 23rd of this past month, kind of on our home grounds, our own stumping grounds here, and it was fun. We had two panels. Like how I mentioned, in Huntsville, we met up with Laura and we saw her again because she came down and actually participated in the panel with us here in Jackson, Mississippi at the Trademark Mart. And yeah, it was a lot of fun having her on. We had a discussion about the next season. What was the title of that panel?
I think it was speculation of Series 11, I believe.
Yes, 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 yes. A lot of fun. A crowded room, which is always fun to have a lot of people actually show up. So yeah, that was good.
This happened similar to our speculation of Series 10 that we had last year at Mississippi Comic Con, that there was something that dropped about the Christmas special like days after we recorded, or were there, at Mississippi Comic Con. Then we had the leak of Series 11 days after we had the panel. So maybe we need to have a panel every year so we can get a leak or a spoiler, because it seems like they're coming every year.
Yeah, did you, speaking of Doctor Who news, did you hear something about that there may still be a Christmas special this
Yes,
year?
yes.
Yeah, which is pretty interesting.
Do you know how the speculation got started?
Somebody said something. Maybe I don't remember the
Somebody
exact.
basically put on their resume that they would be recording something for a Christmas special, and it was with a director that has directed Doctor Who before.
Yeah, he did the last Christmas special.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yes, yeah, I remember now. Yeah, pretty interesting. Should be fun. So can't wait, can't wait. And of course, you just mentioned the clip that got leaked. Which, if you've been listening to our show, know that we've briefly talked about that as well.
Yep. So I want to talk about our panel that we had with our friends from Reality Breached, because this was one time that you and I were on opposite sides of the table, meaning we were not on the same team. We were not discussing Who or comics together, or anything else. We were on opposite sides.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
did you like that?
It was fun to kind of argue against the smug book readers, which would be Cal Jones and Robert Morris, while Sergio Lugo and myself, Clarence, were on the side of the movie fans who don't really give a crap about what happened in the books. So yeah, a lot of fun to debate and discuss the different merits of each, because they're all valid, and had a pretty good crowd for that as well. So it was good to jump in there and hash it out.
Yes. And I have to say, I think at some point
You
I
skipped.
don't know, but I did what?
We flipped you. We flipped
Yeah,
you.
you did. But maybe this is a discussing comics episode within itself, but I'm getting tired of comic books. I mean, I was actually talking about that
Interesting.
earlier today, that I'm actually getting tired of comic books.
Tired of being a comic book fan, or just is it getting monotonous? The same stories rehashed. 20s, how many?
Yeah,
30 some
okay.
odd years of reading comic.
So how many years can you tell me, or how many times can you tell me things will never be the same again?
Oh, they do it all the time in comic books.
Yeah, I know, that's my point.
Die and come back, die and come back, and yeah.
So after a while, doesn't it doesn't sting. There's no like, you don't get excited anymore. And I've
Well,
been questioning that.
well, no, I think the thing is of course, you have some characters, they end their books and they come back years later. But for the mainstays, they don't really do that often. So we were just talking about the 1000th issue of Superman. I don't know what is the longest time we've been without a Superman comic. Probably Neil.
Never.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just like sort of that same discussion we had when we were talking about Star Wars fatigue, and maybe even since they're announcing all these new Star Trek shows, Star Trek fatigue. At what point does reading the same type of stories over and over and it doesn't really change a whole lot and it's the same characters, are you going to kind of get burnt out? And you've been doing this strong for 30 some odd years. So, um, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, when you look at it from that point of view, but hey, we'll find something to get me excited about comics because there's more out there than just your typical comic book superheroes. Case in point, good segue here. We saw some fantastic artists at Mississippi Comic Con. Most notably, we saw Marcus Williams again, which we saw
Yes.
last year. But
Tuskegee
specifically,
Airs.
yes, he and Greg Burnham. We've got a video up on the Discussing Network YouTube channel. Please subscribe. And we also got to meet some gentlemen who have not only drawn their own comic, but they have their own action figures. And that to me was like super cool.
Yes, and that's Spiro Studios. Yeah, really fantastic what those guys have been able to do with kind of their original graphic novel, and then moving on to with some look like very detailed, high quality toys, and a hugely successful Kickstarter to boot for their property. So yeah, it's kind of cool to see not only Spiro Studios, but to see what the Tuskegee area guys are doing, kind of moving from comics into other things. And both of them even mentioned possible shows and movies. So it's kind of cool to see what those guys are doing and see the direction they're moving in, and kind of wish them all the best.
Cool, cool. Well, one thing I do also want to mention on this is we had some feedback from Joe, who did a feedback on our review of School Reunion, which was Sarah Jane Smith, and we will have that on episode number 114. And we also had BLL join us as a Patreon. So
Yes.
kudos to both of them.
Thank you both.
And
Thanks to
thank
all
you.
our patrons.
Yes, yes.
We definitely are glad you guys are coming along for the ride. So, man, anything in the just as far as you just mentioned, the episodes that we've been reviewed the Age of Steel / what was the other episode name?
Rise of the Cybermen.
Rise of Cybermen. We reviewed that. I mean, so we're still in like the second season of David Tennant. What about the comic side of things? I know we released one episode this month. Are we anticipating anything else on the comic horizon in this next month?
Oh, yes. So, it was interesting. June seemed like, there was a lot of stuff going on, but there was nothing much that was comic related that was really, and maybe it's that fatigue that I was talking about. I'm not sure. But yes, there's some cool things that are coming. I can't wait for you to finish Luke Cage.
I'm pretty close.
Absolutely can't
I'm on 10.
wait for that. Because I have a favorite character from that, and I'm curious to find out.
I already know who your favorite character
Who is my favorite character?
Misty Knight, of course.
Nope.
What? Okay.
Exactly. Got you.
Huh. If it's
Got
not
you.
Misty Knight, I don't know. I'm interested to see where you go with that.
I didn't say her name, but anyway. So we've also got AntMan and the Wasp, which I think we're going to go see tomorrow, and probably do an episode about that, which will be cool.
Yeah, that's correct.
And I'm still wanting to do an episode about this, which is even that. Well, yeah, it is a comic book. The Walking Dead. We've not ever, we've done videos, but we've never done an actual talk about The Walking Dead, as in an audio episode. And I am thinking about that because I started watching again this afternoon.
How far along are you, sir?
Episode 5, I think. Beth is in a hospital. I'll tell you that. Yeah, she's in a hospital. This dude just got beat up, and she just did something, and they're it looks like about to try to escape.
Have fun with that. I want to let me know after you see the next few episodes, because I believe you're going to have something to say.
Okay, cool. Maybe then that's the foreshadowing of our episode we're talking about.
Yeah, but cool. Walking Dead is great, and I love it. And yeah, I guess what Rick is I guess it's kind of a spoiler for you, but the ninth season is supposedly his last season. So
Yeah, yeah. Um, that's uh, kind of things that you can't get spoiled on. Maybe you see it, everywhere, even though you kind of try to avoid things. But yeah, I guess it.
well,
I don't know. I guess, do you think it should go on, or do you
I
think it will go on?
I think it should go away, but I think they've already said it's going on. I believe, but who knows? Who knows? To me,
Okay.
it's almost equivalent to the whole doctor announcement. We're having a new doctor come in, and you're anticipating when they'll actually leave, but I think the surprise would have been more impactful, which it may have been impossible to actually film that and have it released without anybody knowing anyway. So they just kind of jumped ahead of it. So that's fine too. So
You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of how, and I think they pretty well did. They help me remember here when Jon Snow died. Did did they break the reveal before it happened that he comes back, or not? Did they keep that under wraps?
well, major Game of Thrones spoilers, but I think they, I think
Oh,
they,
well, sorry. Well, I'm assuming people have seen it already by now.
I think they went with the lie. They tried to make it look like he would not come back. So they went with the lie until it was revealed.
Yeah. Hey. Well, hey, I mean, it's not like we've gotten to the last season and already know what happens or anything like that. But I do have a quick question. Westworld, have you seen it?
I have not seen season two. I've seen season one in its
Ah,
entirety.
did
Yeah,
you like it?
it was good. It was good.
Okay.
A lot of shockers, good surprises. I really enjoy Bernard and as well as the Man in Black. I thought he's pretty interesting. But it's a good overall show. I forgot the main character's name, the woman. She's pretty awesome as well.
Dolores.
Yeah, Dolores.
What
Yes.
what about Maeve? What about her?
Who is Maeve?
She's the madam,
Talking about what's her name?
Tandy Newton.
Tandy Newton. Yes, I love Tandy Newton. What are you talking about? Yes, yes.
Yeah, but
A
all right,
thousand times over. Her character is awesome.
cool. Well, I can't wait then to talk about the entirety of when you get to season two.
Cool. Yeah.
All right. So, any other things you can think about or talk about?
Yeah, I'll just bring up real quick in the Trek world. We reviewed Deep Space Nine initial episode Emissary a few weeks back. So check that out if you're into Star Trek. It's a pretty fun episode.
And what do we have coming?
We have the Caretaker 1 and 2 coming for Star Trek. We actually review that this upcoming Monday, and it should be dropping within the next week. As well as I'm going to do a standalone review of the book, the first Star Trek Discovery book, and that should be coming out probably within the next 2 weeks as well.
Cool, cool. Well, I can tell you right now, I'm looking forward to talking about Voyager. I had forgotten how great that was. And if you don't mind me saying this, another suggestion for discussing Trek is if we're doing the first episodes, it would be really cool to do the last episodes too.
Yeah, agreed. And the funny thing is, I'm not that big a fan of the first episode of Star Trek Voyager. I think it's okay. Spoilers for the review coming up. I'm just not the hugest fan of it, but it's kind of a little bit slower and methodical. But it's fine. It's a good introduction into the show. But yeah, man. Any other happenings?
Well, let me say this. I'll say this for the rest of it for the review, but I disagree with you. I disagree with you, but we'll save that to discussing Trek.
Well, let me take that to pivot on to another space drama audio serial. You should check out our fellow co-host Lee Shackelford's audio serial, which is the Relativity podcast. And I think I heard Cal Jones on the latest episode 28. Am I right?
Yes, you did. And I think I also heard Clarence Brown on the last episode, and the episode before that, and the episode before that, and the episode before that.
Yeah. But it was quite surprising to hear you in the background there. That's pretty cool.
So I had two lines, and I was like, yes. So his Lee's advice to me was say it like Kyle. Don't use a voice. say it like Kyle. So
So you just switch up your voice on this one. You
no, 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 no.
didn't.
I did send him several takes, but I tried to say it like Kyle as much as I could.
I don't know what the real Kyle is, man. Do I even know the real Kyle? He
Do
switches
I
up.
even know
He
him?
switches it up every time the mic comes on. I don't know.
Don't tell me you don't do the same thing.
Probably so. I'm
All
pretty
right.
sure I do.
Hey guys, welcome to Discussing Trek.
That's how I always talk.
Oh, but no, that's it. You know, it's been fun listening to you and Lee and the lady who does Alana Jordan's mother's voice.
Yes,
Stephanie is her. I
Stephanie
can't forgive.
Lindsay.
Yes, thank you. That character is,
She she shows out on this last episode. It's really great. It's really
so
great.
so anybody listening, go to relativitypodcast.com, and there's actually a favorite character that I have that is not even a real person on there. So I can't wait for people to listen to Nadia because she's absolutely my favorite. No offense to Clarence and Lee, but yeah, a computer generated voice is, won me over. So
Cool, cool. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna go ahead and try to wrap this thing up. You should see this video pop up on YouTube as well as our other outlets. Thanks for anybody that's watching, and if you have anything you want us to cover or dive into, comics related, Doctor Who related, Star Trek related, let us know by sending an email to hosts at discussingnetwork.com, and you can find out all our shows by going to discussingnetwork.com as well. Anything else you want to talk about, Kyle, before we wrap this up?
the only other thing I would say is be sure and to subscribe to this channel. Feel free to follow us, and if you feel so inclined to do so, support us on Patreon at patreon.com/discussing network, and then subscribe to all of our shows. Make us happy. We'd
Yes,
appreciate it.
yes. Wherever you're listening at, if it's on
Yes,
Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook, subscribe and like. Yeah, help us out.
absolutely. So,
All right,
let's.
guys.
All right, later.